Da, da, da. Is this thing on? It is on. Look at that. I'm on. I'm looking at myself on two screens. Hey, how we doing? How's the audio? Is anybody in the chat room today? Let's have a look. Let's show the viewers list. And it's me and Carbot14XYZ. Hi, Carbot. How are you? Please don't be a bot. Um, yeah, apparently Carbot is just a bot. Well, there you go. A week later and nobody's tuning in. Oh, now we're up to four. This is good. Um, I don't know who's watching. I don't know how you're watching, but welcome to the madness. It's cup of tea time. Today's mug is brought to you by Han Solo saying, I know. It's part of a two piece, the other half being with my wife, and it's Princess Leia saying, I love you, because we're a soppy couple. Oh, what's the good word? People, how we doing? Um, I hope you're well. Interesting week. Interesting week. Ongoing, just family stuff. Stuff can be quite depressing, and I hate this, continually kick off on downers, but this pandemic is brutal on so many levels, where people are cut off from their loved ones. I mean, we've been through the holiday season. We've had Thanksgiving. We've had Christmas. We've had Hanukkah. Um, and it's all well and good people like me sitting at home and saying, well, you can't go to your parents, you can't go to your brother and sister, you have to stay away, do it over Zoom, and saying it. And I've got the backup of my wife who is with me at all times, much to her disappointment, I'll tell you that. But no, seriously, it's so tough for people to have to deal with the craziness that's going on right now and not be able to go see loved ones, go see friends. And it's tough for the younger people as well, the school kids, who are very social animals. And, it's a very important part of their development right now to be out and be social and learn to socialize. And this is going to have a effect on generations moving forward that we haven't yet managed to figure out. And I don't think a lot of people are foreseeing it. Mental health professionals, yes, I'm sure they are. They know this tide is coming, but yeah, I just got thinking about that this week, talking with some friends and family members who had, who were, having some issues. It's been a rough time with my family at the moment. We've been through a major loss, and I just want to say, if you're out there and you're alone and you feel you don't have anybody to talk to, um, feel free to reach out to me on the Twitter there, Annoyed Gamer. That one, yeah. Drop me a line. I can't say I'll respond immediately because I'm not always on Twitter. But if you just need to catch up, let me know. I mean, let's just have a back and forth. Maybe I can help put you in touch with people who can help. And I mean, there are resources available to people where again, it's not the same as regular human contact. It's not the same as a handshake or a hug or a high five or a cuddle, but being able to talk to somebody is so important. And so I'm just saying that take care of yourselves out there. It's a rough fucking world right now. This pandemic, if we'd have handled this pandemic better 12 months ago, 13 months ago, and I'm starting off, and I'm going to place some of this blame where it originated. If shit had been shut down way quicker, and then, the individual governments around the world who didn't act properly, including the United States government and Donald Trump as its leader, if they had sorted their shit out, we probably would have had a Christmas this year and where we wouldn't have had to be locked down. Boris Johnson's another one. If he'd got his shit together over the summer, stop letting people into pubs. This is a contagious airborne virus. Stay home for the moment. But anyway, I digress. If we can, the vaccine is coming. People are getting vaccinated. I'll probably get vaccinated in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Fingers crossed, because I'm old. But I'm just saying, take care of yourselves, tough it out. Reach out on Zoom to people, reach out on FaceTime, try and have some of that, back and forth with somebody. And if you don't have anybody to talk to, reach out to a resource. There are lots of mental health resources available because people are suffering. So, like I said, I'm sorry to start the show on a downer, but it's been on my mind this week. So please be careful, look after yourselves, and hopefully by the end of this summer, we'll be through this. We'll be vaccinated. We won't need the masks anymore to a certain degree, and we'll be out seeing our friends and family and loved ones. And I will have a haircut, although I still think I've got the best hair on the pandemic when it comes to me, Shane, and Michael Pachter. So there you go, Pac. I am issuing you a challenge, sir, that you have to up your hair game. I haven't seen Shane Satterfields recently, but I did talk to him on Monday, and his new podcast is on Sifted right now, which is 3-Night Weekend, I believe it's called, and I was his first guest, which was a very nice thing of him to ask me to do. He tweeted out the link to it this morning. I didn't see the link, of course, because Shane's social media game is not necessarily on point because you forgot to tag Annoyed Gamer in it. Seriously, drop the tag in, and then I can retweet it. Oy vey's me. You young people. All right, let's check in on the show viewers list. Look at this. We're up to 9 viewers and people are in there. Let me see. Oh, yes. Hello. RP Genius, Wrench FX, Sublevel 28, Poison Fang. Not Jim. If you're not Jim, who are you? J Carey 256. I'm wondering if that is my old colleague from Vivendi, Jim Carey. No, not that one. James Carey. Really, really wonderful, wonderful man. G Cacho, is that Gason? Is it Gason? I can never pronounce your name. We're friends, been friends on Facebook for so long. And then whatever the carbot is, I don't know what carbot is. But anyway, there you go. Look at this. Let's have a look at the chat. Yep, it's been rough. Jim, good to see you. Not Jim. I am so glad your mum got the vaccine today. Good for you. In my opinion, who's handled it worse, US or UK? Because Boris has had a nightmare here. Boris has had a nightmare, absolutely. But nobody has handled it worse than Donald Trump. Donald Trump politicized it. Donald Trump put out stupid ideas about bleach and infrared rays. He refused to wear a mask even when he got it. He put lives at risk. He laughed it off even when he knew exactly what was going on. And he weaponized it to his kooky followers. So Donald Trump, in my opinion, might be a bit controversial here, should not only be impeached next week and be the first ex-president to be impeached, which means he loses his benefits and his Secret Service detail and his salary and all that fun stuff, which he shouldn't get fucking paid for anyway. We should be billing him because he spent the last 4 years on a goddamn golf course. But I believe he should be tried for negligent homicide because he disbanded the quarantine task force. He mismanaged the response to a negligent degree, and now we're heading to 500,000 Americans dead. He is the biggest mass murderer in history. And I think somebody should get on that. Somebody in power should take this git down. I've never felt so much disrespect for an elected official. And we've had some doozies over the years. Margaret Thatcher, Ronald Reagan, they're saints compared to Trump. All right. But yes, I just want to get that off my chest. All right. Okay. Mr. French, Ryan French. Oh my God, this is like a Vivendi day. Now, Ryan French I used to work with a long time ago. Now, Ryan French is a claim to fame. He's actually in a game that's on my desktop right now that I'm going to have to now stream because I have got the stream set up. If you saw my Twitter earlier, I dusted off a old PlayStation 3D monitor that had been sent to me in 2013 when I was doing the NBC Games thing. So, I mean, this thing's 8 years old. And after some advice from my good friend Michael Futter, at Futterish on Twitter, and I think on here as well, I've got it all hooked up. So I actually have the 2 screens for my, my beautiful Alienware Aurora doubly mega sexy machine, so that I can actually use something called OBS Studio. I'm learning to use it. I'm fiddling around with it. Today I'm just using the Twitch Studio Beta, which is a little more limited, but it does everything I need right now. But yes, I have this second screen. Like I said, if you saw my Twitter earlier, you had seen the link. I still got to learn to look up. I keep on looking at myself. It's really annoying and really unprofessional. I never had this problem before. So I'm sorry, looking at that and then looking at here, I'm all over the place. But yes, I'm going to start streaming some games. I'm going to give it a go. Probably going to do some Cyberpunk at some point. And like I said, going back to the Ryan French, Ghostbusters. I have Ghostbusters, the video game, remastered on the PC. And yes, a certain Mr. French is actually in that game. And he's a handsome individual. Ain't you, Ryan? Has he gone quiet now? Okay. So let's see what's going on in the chat room. Um, do, do, do. All right. So we talked about COVID. We've talked about streaming. We're down to 5 viewers. Oh my God. This is 6 viewers. It's amazing how many people I can piss off so quickly with my unprofessionalism. Just wait till I start streaming games, and I'm probably, just be thankful. In February, I am going to be dry. I've not had a drink this month. I tied one on to excess, I think, before Christmas. Wheedled off a little bit in January, but it's been 5 days now without alcoholic beverage. But come March, I'm going to be doing some drunk streaming. I know I am. Now then, I am going to go over here to my other machine, other screen, and I've never had two screens going on a PC or on anything like that in the past. This is actually something that's phenomenally fancy for me. I know graphic designers and artists, digital artists all over the world are, as soon as they hear something like this, they're like, amateur, we've been doing this for years. We've got this going here and this going there. Coders, dev teams. I've worked with so many dev teams who are like, look at you, you got two screens. How do you do that? Do you need a special adapter? And then I just realized that I actually have a graphics card with multiple HDMI outputs. So yeah, I'm up. I swear to God, I've become such a friggin' Luddite over the years when it comes to the technology. I used to pride myself on being able to, do stuff, learn stuff really quickly. Now, I don't know if it's old age, because it could be old age. Because again, things start to go, but I'm going to put a little bit of blame on some of the medication I'm still on. Simply because they actually do are known to have some mind fogging aspects. So yes, that's what I'm going to blame. Anyway, so yes, I'm going to start streaming games, but I'm now going to go over here and I am going to go and have a look at some news. And I got to say, I've not followed the games media in a long time. I've got my news from Twitter, I've got my news from Facebook. I've made my own news up in my head. And so I'm out of touch. I admit this. I never knew how out of touch until I started looking through sites like GameSpot and Kotaku. And this is where it's When I Were a Lad. That's the name of this new segment. When I Were a Lad, I should get a little flat cap on, pipe, maybe put some gumboots on and a tweed jacket. But when I was, following this stuff and was part of the games media, I was never a journalist, as you know. I've always said that I never had the skill set to be a proper journalist. Never had that skill set, and I'm in awe of people who are proper journalists who actually worked in the game space. Well, most of them anyway. But I would digest Giant Bomb, GameSpot, IGM, Kotaku. Digest them every morning, get through, see what's going on, catch up on the news, and it gradually fell out of it, as I've discussed before on this and other shows. I fell out of love with games for a long time, and then I started getting back into it, and I started sort of like watching more curated stuff out of, like I said, out of Twitter, out of Facebook, which is not necessarily a smart thing because it's part of a bubble, but it is what it is. But the last couple of days, I've been going on to the sites, my old haunts, if you will. And what the fuck? I mean, there is some stuff that is news, but I mean, I went to Kotaku, and I understand you got to monetize the internet to the nth degree. You got to get paid, blah blah blah. Every second article is a paid ad. Everything links in to other sections of Gawker or whatever it's called now, where you got Deadspin and Mary Sue and all that sort of stuff. And look, I know cross promotion is a thing. Sorry, I'm just getting my back's a little bit stiff. I adjust my old man cushion that my wife got me for Christmas. Lumbar support, love it. But yeah, you actually scroll through the news section, and you can count the actual amount of news bits on the fingers of one hand. I mean, there's all these links to things where, oh, you click on this and we'll get a kickback. Understand that you want to sell stuff, you want to generate money, you don't want people to be paid, which is great. Put that section to one side, please. Put it here. It's like, support us. Click these things if you're interested in them. Support us that way. Boom. Because they also have the ads. The ads are fucking playing incessantly. We'll get to that in a minute. And then we look at the articles, and look, I'm gonna have a look at this. I mean, some of the articles are a little bit, are quite interesting, but some of them, and again, this is just me being old. Okay, I am old and I'm out of touch, so bear with me on this. But what is your what your Genshin Impact crush says about you? The fuck? Are we that backwards now as a or coddled or just strange as a species that articles have to be written about your crush in your fictional crush in a video game. I Is it me? Tell me, talk to me. Talk to me on Twitter. Talk to me here. Tell me, am I just being old and reactionary and grumpy and ornery, and am I just going to go, get off my lawn? Or is this just absolutely fucking stupid? I mean, where's the proper articles? I mean, obviously, yes, you have slow news days. And let's face it, January, February, generally slow news days, especially after a game like Hitman comes out and there's not much else going on. I mean, I'm looking at the rest of the things on, for example, on GameSpot. Something Apex Legends next firearm will be not just another gun that's like the others. It does hint at a slow news day. I mean, and this is from somebody who used to feed stuff out into the news. I mean, if I was a PR guy today, I'd be happy as Larry because whatever crap I put out would probably make it because this animal is now eating itself at such a rate in that it has to produce more news and anything will be considered news. BTS is now part of a mobile rhythm game. All right, there is a game section in there. So BTS's inclusion on Kotaku, fair enough. But then the Big Short's Michael Burry made 270 million betting on GameStop. All right, I suppose GameStop maybe, we'll talk about that in a minute. I got to say, as a filthy socialist, I loved that the billionaire douchebag club got reamed left, right, and center in the GameStop. I've been doing that for 20 years. GameSpot and GameStop. I just can't get it out of my head. Yes, but I'm so glad that these buggers got caned to the tune of a couple of $1 billion. Long may it continue. And here's hoping the federal government start regulating and looking into these investment houses and these brokers and how they pull shit. Because let's face it, all the money they're making is not trickling down to the people who need it. And these guys need to be taxed within an inch of their life and sent to jail and probably stop from ever doing this sort of thing again, because I guarantee you they're playing with house money. They don't give a shit about anybody else and they don't like it when somebody starts beating them at their own game. And I will also say, I think that there was a story this week, a Minnesota student who'd actually invested and made some money off this GameStop share go up thing. Actually took a portion of his profits, bought a bunch of Switches and games, and took them to his local kids' hospital. You don't see many Wall Street traders doing that, do you? And they wonder why we all fucking hate them. So, more power to the young man who actually did a really good thing with his limited fund, and a rather large fuck you to every single Wall Street trader out there. You soulless parasites. Who gives a shit about Wall Street? Because how Wall Street goes is generally not how the general public goes. So, socialist little bastard here. All right, let me go and have a look at the chat room because there's been a lot of chats going on while I'm here. All right, please stop picking on Jim Carrey. Okay, you leave James alone. Uh, I am going back up this. I don't have somebody. It's actually I don't obviously have somebody moderating these comments. Just the Autobot. Um, but I'm going to. All right. So, what do I think about that new Shane, the new show that I talked about? You know what? I love the fact it's just a podcast. Doesn't not everything has to be video. Podcasts are great. I mean, I'm doing this as a grand experiment. I mean, I've done the podcasting, I've done the video thing. There's certainly a lot more work involved with video, especially when you have to pre-record and edit. And it's easier to chop some stuff out on audio. But when you're doing video, you generally have to overlay game footage or do some research or whatever. So there's nothing wrong with a quick and dirty podcast. So yes, I'm all for it. Let me see what else. Stop going to IGN Kotaku, move to podcast. Yeah, it's strange and it's sad because I'm just old. I'm just old. All right. The game, yes, the game stock, the RPG Genius made a great point. The game stock buyers are doing more with their money than any hedge fund. Yes, well, there you go. I just covered that off. All right. Now, what's the Swiss cheese question? I can't. I didn't see a Swiss cheese question. Put it back up. It's wow. We're picking up viewers left, right, and center. We might even break 20 for the first time in a week. It's so funny when you look at your analytics for the previous week. And it's like the first show was like, 50 odd people tuned in and it was great. And you did this and you did that. And then I did the second thing on Tuesday. And it's like, you had 13 concurrent viewers. And it's like, you should feel, it's almost like Twitch is saying, you should feel sad for yourself. You should be ashamed. You're not that good. People are more discerning now. The crap you got away with a decade ago will not fly now, especially without sparkly things. And yet, there's no sparkly things. What's my favorite Swiss cheese? I don't know. I like all Swiss cheese. I love Swiss chocolate even more. I'm a chocolate guy. So there you go. Boom. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this cheese fetish a little bit disturbing. Let's just go with the fact that I really love Swiss chocolate. I love all chocolate. That's why I died because I had all that chocolate. Yes, the game thing is actually gonna that bubble's gonna burst. We know that the stock is down over the last. Oh God! All right, I'm going to allow that. My first dubious comment that um, came through the chat filter. And again, this is my learning process. You're right in here in the middle of my learning process. This is like going to school with me and me being bull because the auto censorship chat filter thing flagged the word fetish as if I would be offended by the word fetish. It obviously doesn't freaking know me. But yes, I've now added the permitted term fetish. So you can use fetish in my chat. So there you go. But it's funny. I look at people, I've looked at other streams and I just see how amazingly professional they are and how there are normally 2 or 3 people in a team and there's the main streamer and then somebody's running the, additional audio, somebody's moderating the comments. Never going to be that professional here. I don't do professional. Oh, anyway. Yes, I am going to keep the censor in because I don't want certain things coming out there because it's just, let's just not be. I'm the only one who's allowed to say dickish stuff. But anyway, going back to my ongoing rant about the media. Yeah, what happened to it? Why is it all padded? And again, as the games industry moved so far to an extreme. I mean, like I said, I keep on calling out Kotaku because it's always one of the ones that, I mean, I've had personal issues with over the years, but I also respect a lot of their writing and a lot of the stuff that they have done, because they went through this phase of looking for shit and controversy where it wasn't there, and breaking embargoes, and just generally, oh, we're the wild child, we can do whatever we want, just basically being dickish. And then when people started to ban them from press events and everything, like, nobody loves us. So I have a very interesting, sort of like love hate relationship with Kotaku. But I've gone, I go back then, I look at it, and I just feel like I'm reading something in a foreign language. What I can, and again, following things like I'm not saying that anything that's not mainstream shouldn't be covered. It should be, but I just see the amount of stuff there that's pandering to really bizarre little subsets of the games industry. And unfortunately, those, you know, and again, I'm going to get a lot of abuse now for being an old man who is criticizing. I'm not criticizing. Everybody, each to their own. But come on, put that in, just put that in a corner. Where's the news? Where's the proper articles? Give us the fucking proper articles. It's not all video and stuff like this. Give us the proper in-depth stuff. Jason Schreier, I've had issues with him over the years, but he's a fantastic writer who's written some amazing, amazing articles. He's no longer at Kotaku, and it's the weaker for it. Anyway, okay. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. All right. I deny it. I denied that. Sorry, Tommy's voice. I denied that. That term. What you called that certain person. Yeah, I see that the editor in chief is leaving today. He's been there 12 years, and again, 12 of those too long, to be honest with you. He's attacked me. I've attacked him. He's off to do whatever he is. The fact that he's sat there and just basically not really advanced the cause of games journalism, I'm not a big fan. Anyway, and it's interesting, somebody's, RP Genius is talking now about streamers and YouTubers and influencers. I still hate that fucking term, the influencer. And I feel it's sad as an XPR guy that the news and this stuff is what's called news now. These pages that I'm seeing here, because the PR people are abandoning traditional news outlets and traditional news stories to go to the influencers, the Instagrammers, streamers, who have not got a set of ethics installed in them because they haven't been through a system. They've obviously got talent. Don't get me wrong. A lot of these have talent, technical expertise. They've built up a fan base who adores them. But I also feel that they should be held to a journalistic integrity level that they are not being held to. I mean, if somebody is shilling for somebody, shilling for a game that is obviously a bad game, or a service that's obviously a bad service, and is doing that to people, or and doing it in a way that's not transparent as well. It's not like, oh, I'm going to talk to you about this because they've given me a shit ton of money. It's like, oh, by the way, I'm using this, blah 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 blah. Disingenuous, dishonest, bullshit, and should be held accountable. And this is where Twitch and YouTube and everybody need to regulate their people. All of my underpants are fake, says Raypad TV, who's come on to gloat because my team, Liverpool, let me down on Wednesday, losing 1-0 at home to Brighton. Horrible performance, one of the worst performances of the season. And that's saying something. So we got twatted 7-2 at Aston Villa earlier in the season. But that's it. I don't think my team is going to retain their title this year. I will say that we have been killed by injuries, having our entire centre backs wiped out. Was really quite unfortunate. Not replacing them at the beginning of January, also quite unfortunate. We've taken some steps now. But yes, I think this will be a trophyless season. And I think we'll have a squad rejiggle at the end of the year. So, I'll always hold a little bit of hope for my team because I will support them through thick and thin. We've had some very wonderful times, but now is not those times. So, as long as Manchester United don't win the title, I'll be happy. If Leicester City do sneak it from Manchester City, I'll be even happier because, you know, my views on Manchester City, Raypad. Um, yeah, I mean, not obviously, a decent team backed by not by an oligarch or not backed by a corrupt Middle Eastern regime. It would be nice to have those people as champions again. Liverpool aside, how am I doing? Asks Tommy's voice. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I mean, just like anybody, I'm suffering the same as anybody right now with regards to just the depression that kicks in every other couple of days, where you wake up and it's like, what is your day today? And that's one of the reasons I started doing this. I mean, just being able to talk to people. I mean, you can't really talk back other than through the chat. But yeah, it's the mental health thing. I needed something to keep me going. I needed something because I mean, we're coming up on almost 1 year of lockdown. We locked down here before the big lockdown went into effect. We actually started cutting ourselves off from the rest of humanity when COVID was really nasty around I think it's like first week in March. So yeah, so it's about 11 months now that we've not had any contact with anybody other than from 6, 10, 12 feet away. We had some friends over last year for a short period of time, but they would sit 10 feet away in the outdoors. And, we don't even do that now. And like I said, I know that's tough for a lot of people. And, there are a lot of people who are with no one to have at home and they're suffering. And there's also a lot of people who have a house full and they're suffering because there's no way of getting away from your families. Or, it's the flip side of the coin, especially if your family piss you off. Because let's face it, families do that. I mean, like I said, me and my wife, we've actually been on the whole pretty good. She's in her office now. I'm obviously in mine talking to you. Um, for the first, I'd say, 8 months up through Christmas, we were great. And I think the last sort of like 6 weeks, things have just started to creak a little because, you're at the Christmas mood, a little cranky because we've all put on a little bit of weight and the diet's kicking in. And, then the last week where there's no booze. So we've tried to keep ourselves busy in different ways, and sort of like just keep separate time. But that's the real major issue. Um, it's Zoloft. Yeah. Ironically, the only one who's on antidepressants in the house is the freaking dog. Spike has gotten so overamped because he's just has us home the entire time that it's actually getting worrying, and it's overexciting him, and we have to worry about his stress levels and his heart. So my dog is on what the hell is it? An antidepressant, not Vicodin. He's on one of those little Prozac. That's it. He's on the generic Prozac. How Los Angeles is that? But apparently, it's very common in small dogs that you actually put them on Prozac because they get so excited they'll do themselves an injury. So yes, can we see the dog? He's cuddled up with his mother right now, but I'll maybe bring him onto a stream next week. Ray's recommending guitar. He started playing again in September. Um, yeah, I tried doing that. I've actually got a guitar that I got sent a long time ago, but I just can't read music. It's really bizarre. Amazing failing of the British school system. When I was a kid, I was transferred from one county school system to another, where the first county hadn't taught music to a certain age, and then the next county taught music, but they'd already been teaching it for X amount of years to a certain age. So I turned up and I couldn't read music. I just didn't have any access to learn these basics. There was no remedial catch up or anything. And so, yeah, I flunked out of music really quickly. I mean, I had no discernible talent anyway. But yes, I would love to read music, but now I can, like I said, my concentration levels are so low. Woo. Okay. What else we got? Yes, a lot of people are working on it. Good for you. I am so pleased when people are trying to do new stuff. I think the thing me and my wife have done a lot of is actually cooking. So anyway, which is not why you tune into this fucking show. I'm sorry, I should be talking about video games and stuff, but it is a slow news week, and you think if the likes of Kotaku and GameSpot and everybody else, and I have still picked up a oh Jim Carrey, thank you for the follow. Um, yeah, if these guys are struggling, what the hell am I going to talk about? Oh, I know what I'm going to talk about. Mass Effect. Oh, what I got here, my glasses cleaners, by the way. Um, I touched on Mass Effect Trilogy Remastered. Ooh, everything's blurry now. Um, on the last show on Tuesday. And since then, there's been a lot of video comparisons of the two, the original and this new upgraded 4K Sex on a Stick version that's coming out in May. And I gotta say, it looks great. It's absolutely gorgeous to look at. It looks like we're going to get all the DLC bar one, which was I think it's the pinnacle DLC from the very first Mass Effect, because it was done by an external company, and apparently the source code totally corrupted. So it's of all the DLC, it's actually not necessarily that much of a loss, because it was more sort of like multiplayer focused and game zones and time trials and various other things. So I'm not going to really miss that. What I am going to do is I'm going to take issue with something I saw yesterday. And I saw it, I read for about 3 minutes, and then I just had to close the browser. A journalist, and I'm going to use that term very, very loosely, um, started bitching about the Mass Effect remaster, on how everything is pretty and how everything should have been kept the way it looked back in 2005, 2006, whatever, when Mass Effect came out. Really? You look at the game side by side, and you telling me that going back to this old version is more appealing to you than seeing the new sexy one? And look, we all have our individual tastes. I mean, okay, that's fine. But writing a whole fucking article about how EA is doing it wrong and it now looks bland and generic, when the old version, especially if you want to replay it now, is nigh on unplayable. Anybody who stands there and tells me the original Mass Effect was an absolute work of art that stands the test of time, well, gameplay sucked. Combat was all over the place. The role playing section was not as fleshed out as it should be. And yeah, graphics are now dated AF. And I'm going back to, I'm going to, it reminds me of these people who, oh my God, everything is retro. Let's have this wonderful, let's do this in an 8-bit style on these fancy computers, and let's put this out. And isn't it charming? Isn't it cute? And isn't it? No, it's really fucking annoying. I'm sorry, I don't want to see your 8-bit games anymore. I don't want to see your 16-bit games. We are in the 4K revolution. Make your games look pretty. That's me just being grumpy and a snob. Sorry. I just had to get that out. I gotta say that I'm loving that this. You guys are having separate conversations and totally ignoring this podcast. Somebody's asking about Peter Moore. Would it be right for me to assume that Peter Moore was one of the main people, if not the main guy, who expanded the system of microtransactions to EA, and will do the same at? Peter Moore was not the guy who brought the microtransactions to EA. Peter Moore is a god. Peter Moore and I've said this before on this show, and I'll say it again. Peter Moore can do no wrong. Peter Moore was in charge of Liverpool when we won the title, the Champions League, the Super Cup, and the World Club Championship. Peter Moore is a fan who gets his club. And honestly, I don't think he is the guy with regards to microtransactions. No, I think that was made out of a certain section of the let's just say the powers that be at a higher level than him. And I still hate microtransactions. I hate season passes. I hate loot boxes. I think they're disgusting. But yeah, nobody's picking on Peter Moore. All right. So now I'm seeing everybody's talking about guitars and chicken marinades. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, I say, I mean, you just talk amongst yourselves. I've been going for 40 minutes. I mean, I've whittled away. I've actually talked about nothing in particular for 40 freaking minutes. All right. While you're here and you are my captive audience of 16 viewers, oh God, I'm good. This streaming thing, it really is quite difficult. It's not as easy as it looks. And anybody who, who does it and does it well, I do have a certain amount of or for your skill set. I see people just kicking ass um, on this format, and it's so effortless. Yeah, me, I'm just having to relearn everything from the from the get go. Um, all right, what there is a if you look at the IMB Twitch page, which I am going to look at right now, there should be. Hang on, what? Uh, okay. Well, there you go. It said I was offline. That's bizarre. There should be a section that actually asks for things like suggestions. Give me suggestions on games to play. Now, obviously, I'm not going to buy a shit ton of games. I do have a few that I'm looking to stream over the coming weeks, and I will go through some of those with you right now. I am going to stream Dungeon Keeper 2, Hades, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Cyberpunk 2077, Ghostbusters, the video game, um, and probably the Outer Worlds, and maybe even Grand Theft Auto 5, because they're all across the top of my thing. Some of them I've bought, some of them have come through free games from the Epic Game Store, which I love, by the way. You keep on giving me a couple of free games a month, and I'm going to buy stuff on your service. All right, let me. All right, I'm playing catch. I am not playing Genshin Impact. I don't even know what it is. What's the one game or franchise like to see remastered that hasn't? Yes, KOTOR 1, 2, and I'd like to see the Old Republic MMO redone, sequelized, upresed. Oh, lots of new content. Never happened, but there you go. EA blew it, in my opinion. Could have made Star Wars RPGs, no quota single player, but ours did. Yeah, EA. I think again I've gone on record as saying that the Jedi Fallen Order or whatever it was, the game that came out the year before last. Love the writing, hated the game. Not my cup of tea at all. Yeah, I don't do JRPGs. I'm sorry. And again, I'm looking at the. You've got to be catching up on the chat feed for me to have any understanding with regards to what I'm doing. Um, I can't stand JRPGs. I played JRPGs in the PlayStation 1 era and I liked them. And like I said, I think I said this before and repeating myself. I just grew out of them. They're too repetitive, too dull. I tried to give, and look, I mean, just for my tastes, I like to play a game more than looking at cutscenes. And I like my characters to be a little grittier and a little more realistic and rounded, in my opinion, than the sort of like bland androgynous look that you tend to get through a lot of the JRPGs. Final Fantasy VII, I think, was the last one I played. I enjoyed it. I put in a lot of time, but it was a grind. It was a grind followed by a bunch of beautiful cinema scenes, and that was really that's really it. I mean, it's the same. It's the same problem I've had with everyone in the JRPGs. I mean, the last one. Um, Christ, I can't even remember the last one I played. It's gonna be a long, long time ago. Turn-based combat rules. Oh, shut up, you idiot! You're a Man City fan. Yeah, I love you. Um, Final Fantasy Tactics. No, no, sorry, dude. Look, and again, Game Boy. The original Game Boy, Final Fantasy VII original. I didn't play the remake. I'm not shelling out for a remake of a game that old. I mean, Mass Effect trilogy remastered, fair enough, but a 30-year-old game remastered, no, thank you. Oh, sorry, 20-year-old game, whatever it is, 25. Um, Yeah, I mean, look, my limit with regards to retro games is going on good old games and buying things like Dungeon Keeper 2 for the third time, which is still eminently playable and a lot more fun than most games out there right now. Have I played the CNC remaster? No, I haven't. Um, I may look at it at some point, but again, Command and Conquer and Tiberium Sun. I mean, Westwood Studios. A lot of their stuff in their prime. I actually have Blade Runner on here. That's been upraised a little. That's on Good Old Games as well. And Blade Runner is such a great point and click adventure. But again, it's kind of limited, but it's certainly more enjoyable than most JRPGs. Okay. All right. It's a great list of exciting games. We consider peppering in some games that you hate so I can rip on them as I play. Yeah, there actually are. And one of the things I was thinking was, I mean, I've got the Xbox Games Pass, and I've got these free games that are stuck in the Epic Games launcher with regards to just, you can have this month. And they're really outside my comfort zone. So I don't know if I want to necessarily rag on them, although I can think of one franchise that, to be honest with you, I would love to just. I downloaded some remastered versions via the Xbox Games Pass Ultimate, and it's Yakuza. I'd never played the Yakuza series, and I've seen so many people raving about Yakuza. I started with Yakuza 3, got about 20 minutes into the first cutscene, wondering when the gameplay was going to start, got bored, quit out, tried 4, quit out, tried 5, and hated them because they're everything that I consider. And again, I do understand that they are older games that have been remastered and have been brought out, and they're not for everybody. But it just goes to show that this fetishization. Wow, I can't say a word. The This thing that Japanese games have of the cutscenes that go on for a week and a half, and you have to read the subtitles because they're not dubbed. And I'm not saying a game is any less because it isn't dubbed, because you do have to respect the source material. And I get there are a lot of people who respect that, who love having the full Japanese authentic audio and reading the subtitles. But when you're 50 years old and you have to have a special set of glasses just for looking at a computer screen. These aren't even my regular glasses. My regular glasses are for driving and walking and seeing in general. These are actually geared to basically about a foot and a half, maybe 2 feet from my screen, so I can actually read everything. But back to Yakuza. It basically ticked every box on games I would fucking hate. And I did hate it. And I uninstalled everything because I just can't stand the over dramatic aspect of every single bit of the acting. There's a little kid in, I think, Yakuza 3 or 4, and she is just. I mean, she sounds like fucking Pikachu. I'm sorry, kids don't sound like Pikachu. Yes, they have higher pitched voices because that's what they are, little girls especially. But I'm sorry, when it's so obviously cranked up to a certain level that it's just fake. That's just wrong. I can't stand it. So yes, maybe I might just re-download all those Yakuza games just to piss the Yakuza fans off, because I know there are a lot of people out there who love that stuff, and they are wrong. I very rarely say that somebody is wrong for loving a game, because we're all different odds and sods. Okay. So Yakuza Zero and okay, yes. Anything with a long cutscene. I'm sorry, I don't need 20 fucking minutes of exposition just so I can go to the next section of a game. Keep it short, keep it concise. Tell me the story as I'm going along. That's what these games are supposed to do. It's not like I'm playing freaking Pokemon or I'm playing Call of Duty or whatever. I mean, these are story-driven games. I mean, if you want to look at how to do it properly, you look at the Cyberpunk games, you look at Fallout, you look at any of those games that are, I know they are more RPG, action RPG, but you look at those games and you see they've mastered the narrative and have not been stuck in the same friggin' narratives rut for a quarter of a century, because the same shit that happened on the PlayStation 1 is happening on the PlayStation 5. And that's 25 years, maybe even more, of the same shit going on over and over and over. And this is, again, one of my problems with the games industry, because yet again, all this shit gets cut slack over and over. It's just cheap ways to pad out the runtime of your game. What's my opinion? So my chair's busted. So at some point, I'm going to sit here and I'll be talking to you, and then this will happen. Oh, dear me. So I've got to stand up. Oh, we've hit 20 viewers. Hello, 20th viewer. Thank you for joining us. Woohoo! Metal Gear. And I think I've said this again in the past couple of weeks, or maybe I'm just having really bad deja vu. I lost somebody already. Metal Gear, I loved it on the PlayStation 1. And then I stopped. I mean, again, this flair for the overdramatic, this flair for the long cutscenes, this flair for a dated style of gameplay. I mean, I look at it as they're covering up flaws in the game. That's all they're doing. The game's not actually that good. Can we start a collection for a new chat? I mean, this is the thing. It's just gone down again. Oh, this is so annoying. Yeah, I mean, and look, I'm going to talk about with regards to the skipping of dialogues and scenes. It sucks that you have to feel you have to do that, because you are missing out on a lot of stuff that is intrinsic to the game experience, because they insist on putting it in these badly acted cutscenes. You and then, oh, I'm just going to skip through this, and I've just missed, and I'm doing what now? And what? Who's this guy? As opposed to making it more succinct, blending it into the frigging gameplay. Deliver the narrative as you're playing the game, so I don't have to sit here with everything bar the popcorn, just, feeling the will to live ebb out of my toes. And again, every time it's like these things are, and these creators are held up as geniuses, and look, they do stuff I can't. And good luck to them, but come on. Stop giving everybody a pass for doing the same fucking game over and over and over. It's Nintendo fanboy syndrome. Every single Nintendo game that comes out, and look, I've got the Switch, I've got a Super NES, I've got a Wii, I've got a Wii U somewhere. But come on, stop rehashing the same fucking game over and over and over. Where's the new IP? Jesus, take a chance, for God's sake. You got enough money. Review Jeff Keighley? I'm not reviewing Jeff Keighley. Jeff's not heir to everybody's taste, but Jeff has done a lot for this fucking industry, Raypad, and don't you go stirring up shit. You little tart. I do love him, by the way. Raypad, not anybody else. Have I tried Ark? Granted, the official servers are a bit of a constant grind playing single player on a server on your own rules. I think I saw that at some point. I don't think I've tried it. I'll have to have a look into that. Raypad, no, don't. So yes, just bring a kitchen chair and cushions in as backup. Okay, Ray's winding me up now. We're coming to the end of the stream. So I am going to try streaming. I am going to try the stream with regards to the video games. And the first one I'm going to do is Cyberpunk. Now, I've already completed Cyberpunk. I played it all the way through. You get a couple of choices with regards to an ending. Spoilers. But I've played it through one way, and then I restarted, and I've tried another tactic. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new game of Cyberpunk from the beginning, and it's going to stream on my very pretty PC, and I will put it up on the schedule, the schedule, isn't it? And I'm going to start seeing, just basically putting out pithy witticisms, because again, that's a fucking talent. Anybody who can play a game and be funny and read the comments at the same time, my God, talk about multitasking. I have problems keeping my focus on a game when the dog comes in the room. Because I want to go, fuck the game. I'm going to cuddle my dog. Or the cat's here. She gets up on my lap. I'm like, I'm going to cuddle the cat. I mean, come on. The amount of times I will put a game down, put pause, and just go for a walk around the house because, like, all right, bored now. But yes, there's a challenge to stream, and I'm going to stream. I'm going to stream Cyberpunk. I'm going to put it up on the schedule, and we'll see how it goes from there. I will also stream Hades because that's another of my favorite games right now. Love it. Love the God mode aspect, by the way, for people like me who, can't play games. So, yeah, let's see. Uh, I got an office equipment to type in through my. You don't need to get me a new chair. Trust me. I will figure out a way to get a new chair. I very much appreciate it. Who would win in a fight, Jeff Keighley or Adam Sessler? They wouldn't fight because they're just really good people. What they would do is they would sit and drink and put the world to rights because that's what we do. Start playing Valhalla instead of Cyberpunk due to crashes and never went back. I've been playing Valhalla too. Like I think I talked about this last week, but I've not been having any touchwood any crashes. I mean, Cyberpunk on my machine is with the exception of some slowdown and some glitches here and there. Such a good game. Remember the worst of E3 and giving you the undersight, and somebody put a cheeky underpants girl in there. Yes, I remember doing that. I think that was the first worst of E3 that people actually kind of enjoyed and we had fun with. Cats and dogs are a big hit on streams. I think if Spike had his own stream, he'd have 10,000 viewers day one because he's just a little asshole. Color or color? There's a U in color, Ray. Come on. It's aluminium and it's holiday instead of vacation, okay? Herb has a H in it. Do I have a Discord? Am I thinking of getting one? I have the Discord app. I don't have a Discord channel. Should I set one up? Explain to me. Probably on Twitter. Message me on Twitter, drop me a tweet and tell me why I should set up a Discord channel. I have no idea. I've used them in the past, but yes, tell me why it's essentially intrinsic to my well-being as a streamer to have a Discord channel. Something else that's got to be fucking moderated, apparently. Raypad, I'm gonna mute your ass in a minute. All right. I can time out Ray. Ooh. Don't make me put you on timeout, Raypad. Okay. There you go. This is all right. Okay. All right, let's go back to viewers list. Okay, close that. Thank you very much. There's a lot of people still in chat. I love it. You guys are awesome. When was the last time I talked to Kyle Bossman? Years and years and years. I haven't seen Kyle in such a long time. Crash. Somebody was asking. Oh, right. Okay, British films. Yeah. There's a lot of good British films that that are totally inappropriate for a family show like this one. If you want to be really offended at the crassness of British humor in the 60s and 70s, as in 1960s and 1970s, and that's kind of worked almost through the 80s, do a Google search for Carry On films. These are a real time capsule. They'd never get made today. I don't even think they get shown anymore because they are very, very sexist. They are, they're kind of homophobic in a lot of ways. And it's a real example of the mindset back then of, oh my God, what they could get away with. And it explains why a lot of people are the way they are. I think perhaps in the UK right now is because a lot of us my age, we grew up watching Carry On films because we missed them in the cinema, but then they were on TV every week. I mean, there's like 10, 15 of them. I mean, they were on different channels. They were on at Christmas, all sorts of different ones. The characters became household names, and it was always the same storyline, just different settings. But again, and it's also, a lot of British guys going through puberty discovered women. It's that kind of like Benny Hill kind of effect, which again is, I'm not saying it's right, but it is a time capsule. Um, yeah, so I'm sure that has been cancelled. But yeah, if you want to, just as a total random with regards to British films that are just like, oh my fucking god. Um, yes. Do I have any interest in Forza driving games? I actually did have the Forza games on, I think on, oh, actually, I had it installed on this PC. I don't. I love to drive. I love to drive. I mean, I was very lucky to have an Audi TTRS for a while. Stick shift, the last stick shift they made in the US. And I used to love just getting on the road in that thing. Very lucky. We just traded our last car in for a hybrid, but we've got an Audi Q5 hybrid now, which is actually cheaper than our last Audi. So our payments went down, which is great. Um, so yes, I. It's funny. I am better at driving in real life than I am driving games. I probably should go back and have another crack at them. I don't like using the brake in driving games. It's like, screw that. I just want to go around corners really fast and wreck. So yes, that's your answer there. Let me see. Nothing like driving 10 miles an hour on the 405. Yes, I know. Well, I live by the two and the 210. I can go there. Okay. No, I mean, I'm not even, like I said, I'm not that much of a car driving fan. Unless you're talking about Carmageddon. Carmageddon was fun. Really, again, because you got to run zombies over. Or they weren't zombies actually in the most versions. But yes, Carmageddon would be a great one to remake nowadays. There you go. All right, so we are over the 1 hour mark, and I'm just going to keep on talking. If you guys want to keep on asking questions, I am happy to do this. I mean, look, I'll be honest, this is fun. I am on that pathway to affiliate that's going to open a lot of doorways and a lot of options. I am getting to grips with OBS Studio. I am going to have a new overlay and some really snazzy, I think, artwork to make my Twitch page look sexier. Why is my door ringing all the time? I love the Ring app, but God, it's annoying. Um, yeah. Do I still hang out with Michael Pachter? I was on GT for well. Thank you very much, Pajorian. Um, I unfortunately haven't seen Michael Pachter in coming up to 2 years in person in coming up to 2 years. The last time I saw him was at his party, the Wedbush Network party at E3 in 2019. Um, Normally we go. I didn't go see him for Christmas that year because normally we go down and hang out with him and his lovely wife and his family and take a boat ride. Um, and we didn't do it the Christmas of 2019, much to my regret now, because didn't see him last year because of COVID and no E3, and didn't see him this Christmas just gone because of again COVID. Um, yeah, but we do talk. I texted him a couple of weeks ago. We had a little catch up. I've obviously been watching the Pachter Factor, and I wished him a happy birthday last week or week before. He reminded me of how old he was, and I wouldn't believe it because he looks better at his age than I do at mine. And look, I look forward to the day. It's funny. Almost a year ago, I was in the UK, and thank God I did that before COVID wreaked havoc. Because I went back to see my parents for their wedding anniversary, and I took a trip to the Penderyn Distillery in the UK in Wales, which is a Scotch distillery, and I brought a whole bunch of scotch back, including one that I am not opening until I get to hang out with Michael Pachter again. I'm going to take it down to his house. We're going to crack it open. My wife's going to drive me home, absolutely slaughtered, and we're going to sit and put the world to rights. So, yes, Michael Pachter, I miss him. Great guy, genuine friend. And look, I say this of all my friends. The fact that I haven't seen so many of them in coming up on 2 years now, because of, like I said, COVID, or I generally see them at E3 because they live out of town, has been heartbreaking. The biggest thing I missed about E3 last year was my friends and getting hugs. Screw the games. Take or leave the games. The games will always be there, but especially as you get older and you start to lose friends, you start to lose family. Make sure you get that hug. Okay. All right. Well, look, I'm yes, I call it Scotch because in the US they also have Irish whiskey as well, and Irish whiskey is not really my thing. So Scotch whiskey, single malt, that's my thing. And I've been in America. Uh, Let me say, I moved here when I was 29, so I've been here 21 years now. So over 2/3 of my adult life has been spent in America. So yeah, I'm actually going for my citizenship this year. I'm not giving up my British citizenship. I'm going to go dual passport, dual citizenship. Not giving up my Welsh passport. But yes, I think it's about time I got invested in contributing more to this country and voting and everything like that. Um, I got to say, it came down to if Trump had won in November, I think me and the wife would be packing up and moving to another country. Mm. Uh, what's your opinion on numbers in? I think Raypad's just bored now. I think he's just trolling me. I think he's just trolling me. Anyway, Johnny Walker Black Label. The Johnny Walker ones, they're not good, mate. They're not good. Stay away from Johnny Walker. Ugh. The more expensive ones as well, just all blended crap. Yeah. Um, yeah, Jim. Honestly, I've actually got the red European passport, thankfully, which obviously doesn't mean shit now because of Brexit. Stupid ass bloody idea that was. So yeah, at least I've got the red one and not that horrible Tory blue one. Okay. Did I try the proper 12 from Conor McGregor? I would not. I'm sorry, there are certain things I will not ever put anywhere near my taste buds, and anything to do with Conor fucking McGregor would be one of them. He's not a nice human being. I'm sorry, don't like him. Not a big MMA fan anyway, but I don't like Conor McGregor. All right. Yes, Glenmorangie is fantastic. Glenmorangie, my wife got me a Glenmorangie 21. Oh no, Glenfiddich 21 for my birthday last year. Oh, so nice. I've never been to Anfield. I've seen Liverpool play. I actually saw Liverpool play Chelsea here in Pasadena a couple of years ago. They came and played Chelsea, and it was the year Sadio Mane just signed for us, and we lost 1-0. Um, but yes, so this is all right. Sad story time. Sad as in, oh, woe is me, boo hoo. About 5 years ago, me and my wife made a deal that for my 50th birthday, we would go back to the UK, and by hook or by crook, I'd get to go see a game at Anfield. So obviously, my 50th was this past December. That's not good. That didn't happen, did it? So what'll happen is, and I've decided this unequivocally, that I'm not technically 50. I'm 50 and 3/4 until COVID is over, and then I will turn 50 with a party. I'm going to go back to the UK with my wife. We're going to see my little sister, who turned 40, but she's 39 3/4 now. And we're going to have a combined 90th party with the family. And I'm going to get to go to Anfield before I die. I have to. Has to be done. Uh, yeah, sorry. I just don't like. I'm sorry. I just don't like Conor McGregor. Just don't. All right. I think I'm running out of steam. Thank you so much for joining me and being awesome as usual. The fact we were up to 20 viewers is great. I'm going to do stuff at different time frames. I'm going to do the streaming maybe later in the night. You guys are absolutely awesome as always. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the watches. Thanks for spreading the word. It's good to catch up and chat with some of you. You are pretty damn cool. Yeah, take it easy. Take care of yourselves. Wear a mask. Make sure your loved ones wear masks. Stay in the bubble. We can beat this COVID thing together, and then we can all go out, hug each other, and drink scotch together. I will see you next week or maybe over the weekend. Check the stream. Again, thanks for following. Be cool. Laters.